This is the VO Life. Positive conversations about living the voiceover life. Insight into the business and day-to-day grind of being a regular Joe VO. From the humble beginnings to the finally hitting a new level to getting that first big client. It's all about that VO life. Here's your host, Troy Holden.
Hey, and welcome back to the VO Life. I'm Troy Holden, your blue-collar voice of choice, your mouth of the South, so to speak. Does anybody remember who the guy in wrestling that was the mouth of the South? I want to say, was it Jimmy Hart? And it wasn't Hart. I can't remember his last name. It could have been. A little skinny guy ran around. He was a manager, ran around yelling and screaming all the time. He was always stressed out. He stressed over everything. Stressed at the referee, stressed at the other the other wrestler. That's what they did. So guess what we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about VO stress and what it does to you and what you need to try to do to help manage that. Whether you are a newbie, you are in the middle, you're doing better, you're making some money, or even for someone that's accomplished, this might be some help. You've probably already got all this figured out or you wouldn't be accomplished. But VO stress is real. I mean, it's very real. And we'll hit on a lot of different areas of it and why and what, and just kind of see what thoughts you have going on. Let's start out with getting work. Definitely stressful. Getting work. Where do I get work? How am I going to get work when you start up, and we go on the platforms. We go to Upwork. We go to Fiverr. We go to Voquent. We go to Bodalgo. We go everywhere we can. And some of us, like I did early on, jumped on voices.com. I may have started a little too soon. A lot of people told me not to start that soon, but I was fortunate. It worked out okay. So getting the work is very stressful. Where am I going to go? How do I set all this up? Starting out in this business is quite stressful. It's fun because you're learning so much and doing things, and you get to see yourself or hear yourself progress. Excuse me, allergies are still kicking my hind tail. So you're fighting that with everything you've got. You're doing that, and it does stress you. It's the excitement, though, maybe in the beginning, it offsets the stress. But, all right, you're starting to get a little work. Now what? Well, in my case, on voices.com, it was auditions. I didn't know it was going to take 125, 130 to get the first job. And the first job was not really all that glamorous. It was a Saturday Night Live Don Pardo voice it was actually for a good-sized company. It was for Deloitte, who's an accounting firm, and this was actually used somewhere overseas. And it was for a sales meeting, and they were just playing my thing in a sales meeting, to start up the meeting. So, it was okay. It paid okay. But it was, to me, it was like, it wasn't even really me. Well, it was. I did the character. But when you talk about on that platform, the stress of doing so many auditions to get a job, when you don't, I guess you don't comprehend it on the front end. It takes a while, and then you get used to it, and you get used to how their system works, and you get a little better at your auditions. And of course, in my case, getting the coaching that I had made my auditions better, and I watched my ratios improve month after month, especially from March until now. Because as many of you know or remember, that's when I really cranked it, getting into coaching and going to workshops and doing those things. That's when I saw things turn around. And I saw those numbers go from like 80 to 1 audition ratio down to about 50 to 1. So that means I'm still going to do about 50 auditions before I get a job. And that's a lot. But out of those 50, keep this in mind. The percentage of those that are listened to on voices.com, they don't listen to every audition. I don't remember what my ratio is on that, but I think it's about 75% of what I audition for is heard. So 25 out of 100 are never heard. So you can't penalize yourself for those. You only take the ones that were heard and compare that for your success rate. And then you kind of know where you are. But should you be stressing over that? I can't tell you should or shouldn't, because I'm not an audition and forget it person on every audition. I am on most of them, but there's always one or two where I feel like, and those of you are at this stage, you know this. You just know you nailed it. You just know it was good. It felt great. You listen back to it. You're like, man, is that really me? Did I really read that well? And your hope goes way up and you watch that one. And 3 days later, it switches over from hiring into deciding. And you're watching it. Oh, they're deciding. And look, I've got the thumbs up. I'm favorited. I'm in the running here. And you keep watching it and you keep watching it. And it's stressful because you're waiting and hoping. And then all of a sudden it shows, boom, completed, and you didn't get it. Or you look up at the top of the screen where it says awarded and it's lit up. Man, what a great feeling to get up early in the morning, or maybe when late in the afternoon, you flip over to your to the site, and there's that awarded thing. It's on. There's a number up there, a 1 or a 2. I've only had a 2 come up once, and that was awesome. But yeah, it's stressful. It's very stressful. And then getting more work. I got a little work. Well, now I'm not getting anything. Why is it dead? Why is it quiet? Are you busy too? Is it slow for you on Fiverr? Are you getting any bites on Upwork? How are the auditions going? We're networking on there and talking to each other, and that's how we relieve some of that stress. Highly recommend, if you're not in a lot of groups, get in some that are people very equivalent to you. Let me say this with that. This is not a stress-related thing, but when you outgrow a group, go find another one that has more people in it that are at your level. If you're a beginner, get in a beginner group, for sure. But don't get stuck there forever. If you're doing okay after a few months, and you're still seeing those same questions, those same things over and over, it's more beginners jumping in, go find another group. There's a lot of voiceover groups on Facebook out there, a lot. And some aren't as active, and some are highly, highly active. Just be sure the one you're in is helping you, not wasting your time, because it's stressful if your time gets wasted. So what else? Marketing. I get stressed about marketing. I stress myself because I don't do enough. I do not follow my schedule or my pattern. I'm not doing the things on social media I should, because I'll get busy with my day job. I'll get busy actually getting work. And next thing I know, I'm trying to balance family time. I'm trying to balance everything else in there. And marketing always seems to fall to the bottom. And that's not good. Not good at all. So I need to put this on myself, that I need to carve out that time whenever it is. And what would be ideal for me? The bell just went off. Lunchtime. I can eat lunch at my desk. I have access to a PC. I can bring in a thumb drive if I have stuff on there I want to upload. I could probably do that, and that would not be breaking any rules or anything. So, and of course, you can do a lot of stuff right off your phone too. So, carve that time out and dedicate to that, and I have to do that. What else do we stress over? I know I stress over Fiverr and their analytics and the impressions and the thumbnails and the keywords, and I used to track daily my impressions and clicks daily. And I would look at the previous 7 days. Which way am I going? Up, down, up, down. And I'm going to tell you, a month and a half ago, my impressions were awesome. I was doing really well. 100, my average was like 150 a day on my top 2 gigs. And I'm now down in the 40s. And there was a little incident on there a couple months ago to where one of my gigs was an auctioneer gig, and it was doing really well. And it had I put the word in there that you could use an auction as a prank on your brother-in-law to, that you're selling his house or something, and we could do a fake auction that, hey, while you were gone on vacation, you're not going to believe this. They sold your house, and here's a recording of it. And we could put in the names, we could do the announcements, and it's a prank. Well, they not only flagged that, they shut the gig down. And it did something overall. And I got it off, I got it deleted, I rebooted it, and it has never done the same, never gotten the traction the other one had. Now you go in there and you search auctioneer, I'll pop up in that number one spot, probably, or definitely on the first row, but usually in the number one spot. But it did something to my account. It put a mark on me, and I can't seem to come out of that hole. I'm getting better business there. I'm not going to lie. I had a really good April there, and have had an even better May, right at, $1,000 there. And that's good for me. I mean, cause I was, wallowing away at $200 a month or $250 or $300. And a couple months ago, I made the jump, and then this thing happened, and I've still had a good month, but it worries me that it's mostly repeat business. I'm not getting the organic business I was getting before, and you got to get the organic to get the repeat. If I get you, I got you, right? That's the way we should look at it. If I get you into the wagon, I'm going to keep you there if I can, and I can't do that unless I, am tracking well there. And that probably right now is my number one stress. Another stressful point is if you're working another job. It is your main source of income, and you don't want to be sidetracked all day stressing about your VO business. You can't do that. If you might have to work this other job for years, you don't know. It may be that you are always a part-time VO, and you can adjust to that. But don't let one get in the way of the other. And if your VO job takes off, and you're making almost as much that you do in your day job, then you have to make that decision. Another stressful decision: when do I go full time? Keep in mind that if you're like in my situation, you've got benefits, you've got things tied in with your regular job that you'll have to make up for in your voiceover job, unless maybe your spouse can put benefits on their, maybe they have a good job and they can get benefits if you drop yours. So weigh all that out, but that's stressful. Do I need to keep this? Do I need to do that? When do I quit? And that's a very stressful thing. Family time. Trying to work that in because you feel like you need every available minute to work on your voiceover business, and you do. You have to record jobs. You have to do your editing. You have to get stuff out. You have to look for new stuff. And you guys that are on Upwork, you gotta be in there searching and writing proposals if you want work. I haven't been doing that, and it shows. I've done very little on Upwork the last 2 months because I'm concentrating on Voices.com. The payback is working because my income's going up, but my Upwork income has really, really dropped. So what I need to do is carve some 10-minute blocks, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, just to get in there and look, because I have my proposals. They're all pre-written. I use snippets, and all I have to do is hit X Upwork on my keyboard, and the whole proposal's in there. And then in the very top, I can personalize it with one sentence maybe. I'd love to help you with your project about geese flying over the Mediterranean. I just made that up, but whatever. And now it's personal, but it's also got my information in there, the link to my VoiceZam, and away we go. Stress. So bottom line, let me wrap this up because we're pushing on into what I like to look at as my time limit. You have to find your stress points, and you have to find a balance to not let it drive you crazy. It's very hard to do. So we need to determine a difference between what's highly important, what's mediocre important, and what's less important, and try to work your way through those during the day. What's most important? Delivering your orders and getting those there on time and that they're done very well. What's next more important maybe? Getting more work. Well, I have to do that through marketing, so I have to bring that into the fold. And from there, really, it's just that constant cycle of those three things for now. You can concentrate on more. And I say this because if you had an 8-hour day to do nothing but this, you would definitely get it all done, right? So what you have to do is say, well, I'm only doing half of that. Do I need 4 hours a day or 2 hours a day? What do I need? Well, how long does it take me to record everything I need to record in a day? And that's sporadic because I may go 3 or 4 days and have nothing. Well, what I'll do on those days is I'll put my focus somewhere else. Maybe it's family time. Maybe it's doing some more stuff at the house. Maybe it's a project I got going on. Maybe it's going and picking up a Coke machine like I did this weekend, to make my front porch on my shop look more like a little country store. You got to have outlets. So when it's slow, some people say, well, dig in and do more marketing, do this, do this, do this. Sometimes you could just step over and take a break, take a breather. And I think that's a good thing that will help your stress. And I've said this on other podcasts, try to have a schedule, some kind of schedule, whether it's time blocks or whatever, and you may have to move it around. It may have to change day to day depending on when you have work. If you have work to do, that comes first, and then I'm going to work on my Fiverr gig. I'm going to do this, do that. I'm going to get coaching this week, but get the work done first. And as I said just a minute ago, take some time away when there's a break in the action and there's, I got nothing in the order queue. Take a little break, take a breather, de-stress, relax. The bottom line is this: be dedicated and be efficient, but don't be obsessed. Don't eat, sleep, and drink this too much, or it will take away from the other parts of your life. VO stress is real. Whether we admit it or not, it's real. And sit down, take a deep breath some days, take a nap. Oh, I love taking naps. And just clear your mind every now and then get back to work and put everything you got into everything you do. But when there's nothing to do, de-stress, relax, take it easy. Take it easy. It's going to be okay. Because you're in this to win it. You're in it for the long haul. You're in it for the marathon. You're not trying to be an overnight success. It usually doesn't happen. So I hate to say be like me, because I don't want you to be a hillbilly that has an accent, because I'd like to corner that market myself. But I do want you to take your time. I'm soon celebrating a full year in doing this. And I could almost say probably right now, because I started up with the Bill DeWeese blueprint about this time last year. And I had started trying to get a booth together and went and bought some PVC pipe, and it wasn't heavy enough, and it fell down when a cat jumped on it, and I had to start over and go get heavier pipe. And, I was working my way through that in May and June, and trying to practice and learn. And then in July, if I remember correctly, we were leaving to go somewhere for the 4th of July. Maybe we were going to visit her parents. I think we were. Anyway, and I got a job that morning for a YouTube ad. And it was really the first regular type thing I got. I'd gotten one or two before that, but they were odd. And the first Fiverr job I got was saying something about this building when I walked by it. And it was like, something about people urinating on the building and how it smelled or something. And it was like, it was just like 3 lines of work, and it was $5. But I thought, is this what this is all about? I really wasn't too happy about it. But about a year ago. So you're a year in. I'm a year in. Some of you may not be that far. Some of you may be further and still feel like you're struggling. Look, take your time. Don't stress. Enjoy it. If you love this, stick with it. It'll all come together. So relax. Totally relax. Think about a meditation video. Go listen to our meditation job and listen to one. Hey, there's another thing. And hey, another way to de-stress, listen to these podcasts. That's the way to do it. Hey, everybody, have a great rest of the week. I thank you so much again for tuning in. You guys are too good to me. I appreciate the compliments. More interviews coming up, more good things coming up on the podcast. Keep watching, hoping that Apple gets things resolved and we'll get on there on our own, not have to piggyback the other channel for a while, but we'll do what we got to do until we get there, and let's all enjoy the VO life.
You've been listening to the VO Life with Troy Holden. Check back for more episodes each week and catch up on what you've missed also. This is for you, those just living that VO life. Thanks for listening and join us again.
The VO Life intro is by Louise Porter. The outro by Liz Moya. You can pick us up on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and many other podcast carriers. Need to send me an email? Do it today. Troy@TroyHoldenVoices.com. Thanks for listening.